What does the cow say?
Meow.
What does the chicken say?
Cluck, cluck.
What does the pig say?
Please show me your hands,
Hey guys, what is going on? I hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday so far. So today I'm going to give you guys a few tips on how to successfully pass the selection process and the hiring process with your local police department. So usually whenever you are putting in for a police department, the first thing you're going to do is fill out a very lengthy application. Make sure to make a copy of that application because they might lose it, just to kind of test you and see how dedicated you are and how much you really want the job. I've kind of stated this in another video before, so if they tell you that they have lost your application, you can go, bam, here's another one, have a nice day. After somebody has reviewed your application, they've probably looked a little into your background just to see if they should even continue with the process or not, and usually the next step is going to be the written test. A lot of people get nervous about the written test, and depending on what jurisdiction you're applying to work for, is going to kind of determine the complexity of this test. Some tests might take 30 minutes, other tests might take 4 hours to do. The written test is also sometimes called a placement test. Usually in one of these tests, these written tests for a police department, there's several categories of questions that they're going to ask you. Some might be logical, some might be mathematical, and some might just not make any sense at all. They just want to see kind of your way of thinking. And other times they might give you a law, and then in a paragraph below that, they might ask you how you can apply that law to a specific scenario. So one example for Georgia might be speeders that go 85 or more anywhere in the state, or 75 or more in a 2-lane road, you qualify for super speeder. So then below that it's going to say Johnny was traveling down the road at 86 miles an hour. Does he qualify for super speeder? True, false, stuff like that. The mathematical part is what gets most people, and I am horrible at math, but as long as you have like a little piece of paper or something in front of you, usually these problems aren't too bad. Some of your high school math will come back to you. An example of a mathematical question might be, last year LAPD seized 100 tons of marijuana, 10 tons of heroin, 5 tons of cocaine, and 1 ton of ecstasy. Now, assuming that these items were seized in the same amounts every single month throughout the year, what was the total amount of ecstasy that was seized in October? I already know there's 2 types of people that are watching this video right now. There are people over here that are like, well, you just do this, and you subtract this and divide this. There's other people that are like, there's no fucking way I can figure that out. Start practicing. Usually after the written test, then comes the psychological exam. A lot of times departments will have you go out of town and you have to answer this like 300 or 500 questionnaire, like a ton of questions. What trips most people up on the psychological exam is some of the questions that are asked in the beginning are also asked again throughout, but they're reworded. So they're trying to make sure that you're going to stick to your answer, even if the question is reworded, you have long forgotten about it, but it will come up again. That's why I keep telling people over and over, it's very crucial to be honest while you're going through this process, because it's very hard to remember lies. It's very easy to remember the truth. And if you just maintain the truth throughout, you're good to go. So once you've gotten done with the psychological exam and you've spoken with a doctor and they've cleared you, a lot of times next is either the medical test or the physical fitness test. Physical fitness standards are going to vary from department to department. Some departments require you to do like a stretch test to see how far you can stretch, and then that will be followed by an agility test where you have to run in and out of cones, and then the final thing will be like a 1.5 mile run. Other departments will just make you run through an obstacle course, basically. So you skip all the running, you skip all that. They just want to test your cardio. So after you passed the physical fitness portion of it, then you have to take a medical exam. And usually with this, you have to go up to a doctor's office. They're going to draw blood. They're going to test whether you're colorblind or not. Don't get discouraged if you are colorblind. I am severely colorblind. For those of you that are familiar, you already know that the colorblindness test was developed by a Japanese, I think he was a doctor, but it's called the Ishihara Test. And the Ishihara Test, you guys have probably seen it before. It's this big circle, and inside there's a bunch of different color dots. Some of the dots inside are slightly just like a shade or two off, but it's going to spell out some sort of a number inside of this circle. Well, if you're colorblind, all of the dots look the same. So for me, who only passed 1 out of 24 of these, I thought I was done. So the doctor comes in and the doctor holds up 5 strands of yarn that are all tied together at one end. Now I can tell the difference between like green and blue, but I can't tell the difference between like dark green and dark blue. So these strings were all very different colors. So the doctor holds one up, he says, "What color is this?" I said, "Green, blue, yellow." He said, "Good, you passed." Maybe that's cheating, I don't know. It got me a job. It's funny because at nighttime you'll hear me either call out light in color car or dark in color car because I can't tell you which color it is. Unless it's white, maybe black, but see, black looks like green, looks like blue, looks like purple to me at night, so it's anybody's guess. So then the doctor is going to test your, again, it's going to depend on which department you're at, like how thorough they are. But they're going to test like your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen levels, things like that, reactionary time, eyes, ears, everything. Some places might require you to turn your head and cough. If that's the case, suck it up, let them get a handful and do it, get it done with. After you get done with the medical exam, there are usually 2 more steps in the process. The first one is either a polygraph or a CVSA. A CVSA is a voice stress analysis, and obviously you guys know what a polygraph is. Whenever you take a polygraph, so many people freak out about this test. The polygraph, here's a little secret for you guys. I'm sure I'm gonna get shit for saying this on camera. The polygraph is only as good as the examiner that's giving it. I personally do not think that police departments should be giving people a polygraph test. Polygraph results are not admissible in court, so why are we using them on new recruits? Anyway, that's my personal opinion. Most departments still have one in place, so my opinion doesn't mean shit, but I'm just telling you guys, it's all a mind game, dude. That's all it is. Like that, usually they're gonna put a very experienced investigator in charge of either polygraphs or CVSAs. So it's really up to them to kind of read your body language, but also they do pay attention to the machine. I'm not saying it's completely false, but there are a lot of false positives. Again, very important to be truthful in your answers. I'll just leave it at that. So last but not least, there is a either panel interview or an interview with the chief, and this is kind of the final step. Usually, just to give you guys a little bit of maybe a little weight off your shoulders. Once you've reached this point, you've pretty much got the job. You really have to screw up in an interview with the chief or a panel to not get a job. Because if they've put that much time and effort into you by this point, you've pretty much got your place. Then after that, after you are done with your interview, which by the way guys, please, for God's sakes, do not show up in flip-flops. Don't show up in a polo shirt. Wear a suit. What happened to people wearing suits? Like I have seen people show up for interviews in a polo shirt and like khaki shorts and like Birkenstocks. You're not interviewing for the lead fryer at McDonald's. Take pride in the way you look. Impress the people that you are interviewing for. Wear a suit. Now, when it comes to the interview, another thing to keep in mind, you have to remember that most people that are sitting on the interview board have seen so many people come through this process. Most people that go into law enforcement all say the same shit. Well, I really want to help my community, and I always wanted to be a police officer, and I think I'd be a valuable asset, and I want to go out there and I want to fight crime, and I want to put bad guys in jail. Oh, do you? Oh, okay. Yeah, so did the last 95 motherfuckers. Try to come up with something a little unique. Come up with something where people are going to remember your name. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you need to go in there and be like, I just want a job. But try to be a little bit different. Don't come up with the same stereotypical responses that every new recruit has when they go into that panel interview. Come up with something, make it your own, own it, run with it. Another tactic that's usually used in the interview process is to give the recruit some sort of scenario, right? The scenario they give you doesn't really have a right or wrong answer. Now, you being an untrained person, a citizen, you're not gonna know this. You're gonna think, okay, well, it might be this way, but it might be this way, I don't know. Most of the questions they ask you are gonna be very open-ended. They just want to see if you stick to your answer. So, with that being said, if they give you a scenario, you answer, you give your input, they act pissed off, right? What? Are you serious? So you would do this and that. Don't change your answer. Don't change your answer. Don't be like, well, no, I mean, maybe we can do it this way. Dude, that's gonna show that you're so indecisive, and they're gonna be like, no, this dude can't stick to it. Run with it. Like I said, own your answer. Be able to articulate why you chose that answer, don't get me wrong, but own it. So when they start getting all huffy puffy and acting like, oh, so you're gonna just leave your partner here while you do this, be like, yeah, don't say yeah, say yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. And that's it. that is the basics of the interviewing and hiring process with the police department. The biggest thing to remember, guys, don't let it stress you out. The more relaxed you are, the better you're gonna be going through this process, honestly, because the more tense you are, the more you worry about it, you're just gonna stress yourself out, and then you're gonna start sweating, you're gonna start getting shaky and stuff. The biggest thing to remember at the end of the day, this is not the end of the world. It's just an interview. It's just a polygraph. It's not the end of the world. It's not like you're gonna die if you get the wrong answer. So go in there with a relaxed mindset. Be like, dude, I got this. It's no big deal. I'm not worried about it. And you'll be fine. It'll be okay. Well, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I can't believe I have actually gotten 3 videos out in 2 days. That is awesome. A lot of you in the comments yesterday, I was cracking up reading the comments because a lot of you were like, wait, did he put 2 videos out in 1 day? And somebody else was like, no, it must have been a glitch with YouTube. No, I put out 2 videos in 1 day. I know, it's hard to believe, but because I'm out of town right now, I'm in training, I have time to do videos. Thank God, finally. So I'm taking advantage of this week to catch up. I'm gonna start doing a couple of live streams maybe. I won't be able to get any content out tomorrow because we have to be there at 8 in the morning, and I am not gonna be back in my room until probably 10:30 or 11 tomorrow night. We're going to be doing nighttime exercises. I wish I could film this class. You guys would love it. Every time something happens in this class, I'm thinking, God, my viewers would love this. So I am in a class right now at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. This class is basically high-risk search warrants. So the first day and a half, so all day yesterday and half of today is, yeah, it's death by PowerPoint. But the instructors are so cool, man. One of our instructors is that very high-speed, low-drag, come get some bodybuilder. He looks like this guy. And he's awesome. He's so nice. He's so down to earth. He's really patient and stuff. And I actually went up to him today and I was like, hey, if you ever need any bad guys for this course, let me know and I'll be up here. And he was like, oh yeah, absolutely, dude. Let me get your contact information. We'll have you up. We'll put you up in the dorm. We'll give you the shitty food that's here. I mean, the great food that's here. I would love to have a volunteer. So I'm all pumped up now. I can't wait to play the bad guy. I played bad guy a lot for our SWAT team. When I was on SWAT, I spent more time as the bad guy than I did in the stack. But either way, you guys would love this class. It's all door breaching, cracking door frames, ramming doors.
Gotcha.
Stacking up with a shield, clearing rooms. You guys would love this class. I wish I could strap on my GoPro, but I'm gonna have to be careful about what I put on the channel. But either way, you guys would love this class. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I will try to answer them accordingly. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I will see you guys very, very soon.